Start with, did you get any response at all from the Chinese embassy?
No, we didn't. We have demonstrated in the past. This is probably the third year that we have demonstrated, and we've requested that they actually join us and accept our message, but they've never seen fit to do that.
And that includes today as well.
I beg your pardon?
And that includes today as well, that you did not receive.
Today
you were
as
not
well.
received. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your prime
We
objective.
were not received well.
Let's talk about your prime objective. Is it to the practice or the conditions under which the dogs are slaughtered?
I think that's the main problem. The fact that they do eat dogs and cats is something that they've done for many, many years, and it's part of their culture. But it's probably the way that they do it that is most upsetting to the whole world. There are a lot of activists out there worldwide that are very upset by the way that it's done. It's extremely cruel.
So you say it's part of their practice. Do you consider it part of their mainstream practice? Because there are some who questioned if it is at all.
It is part of their culture, but it is something that's changing as the different generations are coming forth. I think the younger generations are doing less and less of the eating of dogs and cats, but it's a very slow process, and it's something that we need to hurry along, help it along, because it's totally unacceptable. It's a crime against humanity.
So the residents of Yulin have in the past and continue to do so, defend eating dog meat to celebrate the summer solstice, say that not only is it a popular practice, but they believe that slaughtering of any animal is bloody by nature. What has been your response to this reasoning?
That is so, but dogs and cats are domestic animals. They shouldn't be on the livestock list, and they should definitely not be treated the way they are. In fact, I think that animal laws should exist for all the animals, including farm animals, but the dogs are especially man's best friend worldwide, and I think that they should be treated differently.
But as you said, and this is not to defend the practice, but by your own admission, you say that it is a popular custom as than it is practice. So how are you asking them to move away from their own custom just because you don't believe in it or like it?
I think it's something that worldwide is unacceptable with regards to dogs and cats. As I said before, it's not something that should be on the livestock list. It's a domestic animal. It's man's best friend. They're extremely intelligent animals. They're trainable. They're useful to humans in general. And they should definitely not be on the eating list.
So the Humane Society International says that the festival is manufactured, especially by dog meat traders who are trying to ensure that they put it on the market. Do you concur with this?
Sorry, could you repeat that question, please?
So I'm saying Humane Society International says the practice is something that's manufactured by dog meat traders. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I do.
Is there evidence of is there evidence of that practice across the world, that it's being practiced in parts of South Africa as well, or is it just simply restricted to Yulin? I'm just trying to understand just how big an organization it is, if there are animal traders who are pushing for this.
This practice is in most of the Asian countries, and we also find it in parts of Africa. So it's mainly the Westerners that are actually trying to prevent this from happening. But it does happen in Africa and parts of Africa and in many Asian countries. But then there's also a huge calling for this to end all over the world.
So if you're saying it's mainly the Westerners, are you saying in China itself there are people who are not galvanizing for an end to the practice, who are protesting against it?
There are a lot of activists in China. A lot of the Chinese themselves are not happy with the way things are going, And I think things are changing, especially with the newer, younger generation. They're definitely more aware of it, and things are definitely changing. We like to believe that.
But why do you think that international animal rights groups have failed for years to convince, especially the Yulin province, to put an end to this practice?
I have no idea why they've failed. I think it's, as I said before, it's just that it is a practice that's happened over many years, and it's very difficult to change people's mindset. I think it's a way of life for a lot of people. It's their income, and I think that the Chinese government needs to look into it and possibly change their laws and find an alternative for those people that make a living out of the dog meat practice.
Do you think,
slaughter of dogs.
do you think then that maybe new approaches are required, arguing, for instance, on environmental protection regulations? Do you need to go back to the drawing board to push your argument?
Oh yes, I definitely think that there are ways and means of changing things, going back to the drawing board and finding new solutions and options for these people and ways out. And different alternatives to eating dogs and cats.
Thank you very
And
much.
the livelihood that it's...
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Judy
Thank you.
Westhuizen from Ketani Animal Rescue in our Durban studios. Moving on now to other news. Members of the bomb